Welcome back to our city. Recently, the U.S. Conference of Mayors and Major League Baseball formed a partnership and offered up the month of August. 125 mayors, including myself, signed up to be part of Play Ball during the month of August. And that consisted of working with young people for a day on the game of baseball. And we were pleased to be joined by Mr. Al Hawkins that day, who grew up here in the city of Elizabeth, played Little League Baseball, high school baseball, and went on to a pro career in the Milwaukee Bucks organization. No, the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah.
Right, Al?
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
The Milwaukee Bucks for basketball, aren't
Yeah.
they? How could I make that mistake?
Hey, I played basketball too.
Yeah. But you played baseball, and it was a lot of fun watching you work with the kids. Tell us a little about yourself, Alec. Kind of gave a rundown real quick, but you're a product of Elizabeth Sandlots.
Yeah, I mean, you can pretty much say that. Started out just, playing with my friends and just growing a love for the game, playing in Little League, playing in, 7 different leagues, as I spoke to you about earlier, Youth Outreach, Cuban League, Little League, North Elizabeth, Elmora League. I mean, PAL, I played in them all.
And it kept you busy.
Very much so.
Now, when you went to high school, naturally the camaraderie of Little League turns a little bit into a serious competition, because if you're not good enough, you don't make the team. That was never the case with you. But what was it like playing with high school and then moving on from there?
Well, it was actually kind of funny because, not many people knew about me coming into high school, at least I thought. And then once I got into high school, the coaches brought me up to varsity, which was a shock to me, threw me right in the fire, and me being naive and somewhat ignorant to baseball at that level, I just went out and played and had fun, and I fed in real good.
So Al, the career at Elizabeth High School, did you go to college, or were you picked up right away in order to move into the Milwaukee organization?
I did go to college a little bit before, during playing baseball, and immediately after. I was blessed and lucky enough to get drafted out of high school, which was a surprise to me, because coming into high school, I really didn't know how that process worked. But dealing with Coach Ray Korn, he kind of showed me the ropes, and like I said, I was blessed to be drafted out of high school.
And you played with the Milwaukee Brewer organization for 7 or 8 years?
Yes.
And how was that experience?
Oh, it was awesome. It was awesome. I often tell people that, going through the minors, it's tough. It's really, really tough with all of the stuff that you have to go through. I mean, there was times where we have to travel for 24 hours from Ogden, Utah to Medicine Hat, Canada, and get off the bus and play. But for me, it was fun because, coming from Elizabeth and growing up in a tough urban area, I was getting paid to play. So there was nothing more fun than that.
And getting paid to play is extremely special. Tell us about your experience on the Play Ball day in working with the young people.
It was a lot of fun. It was something that I held close to my heart, because a lot of people helped me coming up when I was younger. I mean, I had tons of coaches. I can go from Anthony Rose in Youth Outreach to Mr. Singley in Little League, and Tomas in the Cuban League. Like, a lot of these people helped me coming up. So any chance I can to help a kid, help a group of kids, to give them an opportunity to fall in love with the game and possibly help themselves further on down the line, I'm always in.
There's no better guy to work with than Willie Singley.
Oh,
I worked
awesome
with Willie Singley in the 70s in the North Elizabeth Youth Baseball League. And he had a son who has since passed away. But his son was one of the better players, and his father got to coach him. And I think it was a great experience. But there's a guy who knows the game of baseball.
Oh, he definitely do. I mean, he taught me so much. He taught me, how to persevere. I mean, everybody know baseball is a sport.
But he also taught you how to run the bases and how to take a lead. And the finer points of the game, Willie Singley knew those finer points.
He definitely did.
And it was good to see him at Play Ball.
Oh, it was awesome.
He stopped by.
Every time I see him, I'm happy to see him.
So academically, we kind of hinted around, were you a good student, average student?
Yeah, I started out as an average student, and not because of ability. It was more or less of time management, not knowing how to delegate time management. Being a 3-sport athlete in Elizabeth, you don't really have much time to study. So any ample time you have to be able to use it wisely. And it took me about a year or so to kind of get used to that. And once I figured that out, I became really, really good.
Now, when you were talking with the students, or some other chat with students, you said to them that when you signed your contract, you wanted to make sure education was included.
Yeah.
What did you do with that?
The reason was because, like most parents, they want you to go to school, get an education, and my mother loved football. So she wanted me to go to school, and at the time, I had just had my son. And it was too hard for me to turn down the money that they were offering me, considering I just brought a life into this world. So I did that, but one of the caveats was if I was going to go play, that the Brewers had to pay for my education if and when I ever went back.
And they did?
Yeah, they did. I was lucky enough to have a scholarship, but they did honor that portion of their
commitment.
Yeah.
So, Al, in what are your fondest memories of baseball here in the city of Elizabeth?
There's
a lot of them,
There's
right?
a lot of them.
I mean, start with high school, and you played for Coach Korn.
Oh, he was the best. I mean, my first year, going 7-0, we're making it into the state playoffs. We lost, and
when you say go 7-0, you were the pitcher.
Yeah, I was the pitcher.
You should tell our viewers that.
Yeah, I was the pitcher. I went 7-0, and then I cut my hand.
Your pitching hand?
Yeah, I cut my pitching hand. Running around playing with dogs, and then my sophomore year I came back and we won it all. Myself, Thomas Johnson, we were kind of like the leaders of that team. That was probably my fondest moment up until that point, getting in high school, to win it all as a sophomore, 14 years old, and being the state champion and the winning pitcher. So it was a fun time.
So what was your favorite pitch?
Strike. Strike. It changes every day. I mean, some days you'll have your best fastball, some days you'll have your changeup, your slider. So my best pitch was always a strike.
So whatever was working that day was your best pitch.
That was it.
I like that answer. I got to remember that one. So you played football and basketball in high school?
Yes.
And what made you pursue professional baseball?
It was just, like I said, it was just an opportunity, and me being drafted. People always ask me which one I love more, whichever one I was playing at the time. I truly, truly felt that. So, when I was done playing professional baseball, I went back to college and played football. Got my degrees in business.
So you played 7 years of baseball, went back to school, and then played football for the college?
Yes.
What college was that?
Louisiana Tech.
Really?
Yes.
And you were a bit older then?
Yeah. I was
mid-20s, right?
Yeah, I was about 24, 25, yes.
And you played getting banged up at 18 and 19 is a little different than getting banged up at 25.
Honestly, I think it helped me because physically I was mature.
Right.
A lot of the day-to-day stuff that you have to endure in college and being a student athlete is tough. So it helped me. It was a lot easier transition than what I thought it would be.
And did you have your degree from Louisiana Tech?
Yes.
And living in the South is a little different, huh?
It's totally different.
How's the food down there?
I'll put it this way. It made me appreciate being from Elizabeth so much more. But it also, if I wasn't from Elizabeth, I think it would have bothered me a lot more than it did. I was able to adapt because Elizabeth is so diverse. It helped me adapt a lot easier.
So you also were selected as a member of the Elizabeth Hall of Fame.
Yes.
How did you feel about that selection and that honor?
To be honest, I was shocked. I mean, I think I was probably about 27 when it happened, 27, 28. And it caught me off guard, and I was honored, and I was pleased. It brought back all of the hard work, all the people that helped me, my teammates, all the great coaches that I had that propelled me to what I became. So I was definitely honored.
So Al, life after baseball, what's it like?
A lot slower pace. Trying to get into some business things. I love coaching. I love trying to teach kids how to play the games and play it the right way.
And you're doing that now. Tell us about that.
Yeah. I'm actually the pitching coach up in Montclair State. I love it. I love, again, teaching kids and trying to give them the opportunities that I had. I love teaching.
Do they listen?
Yeah, they do. For the most part, yeah, they do. I mean, especially considering my track record, they usually pretty much listen.
Yeah, so you work with the pitchers, and
Yeah, I work with the pitchers.
you got any good ones up there?
Yeah, we got quite a few good ones,
Yeah.
actually. We should be pretty good this year.
Good. And motivating children to start playing baseball, which is what you helped us with.
Yeah.
How do you think it was a success?
Oh, I thought it was a great success with the turnout. I mean, we had about 300 or 400 kids out there, so I think it was a pretty good turnout. Absolutely.
So before we close out, the adults played afterwards, and I got to pitch against you. And I haven't pitched a softball in many a year, but why don't you tell our viewers of that outcome of the first time?
I knew you were going to bring that up. Well, everybody know I play baseball, so I can hit a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, but unfortunately, I have issues hitting a soft, lobbed softball, and the mayor did strike me out.
But the next time you hit a rope off me.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did. So, but you also told people it was a political strikeout, right?
Yeah, you
had to make the mayor
You
look
got to know how to
good.
play the game.
Hey, Al, I want to thank you for taking the time to join us on the show.
Anytime.
And I appreciate all your work with kids, and good luck at Montclair State as the pitching coach and all your future opportunities.
Thanks a lot.
I want to thank Mr. Al Hawkins for joining us on the show this evening, as well as Mary Faith Shamil from the Elizabeth Public Library. I hope all of you enjoy your Labor Day weekend, and we'll see you next week when the kids are back in school on another edition of Our City.
We're creating tomorrow's jobs today.